Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, unfortunately, I'm still using my mobile phone, so you'll have to bear with me, but today I thought we'd have a look at a bit of gardening. Well, actually, a bit of fruit and veg that I decided, seeing as we're in the situation we're in at the moment, it would probably be a good idea to have a bit of a homegrown veg on the go, so I decided I'd make a start. I've got some, basically I've only just started. I put these in last night. We've got tomatoes and peppers germinating under there. I've got a bit of old Land Rover as a glass to go on top. This is just while they germinate. Once they've actually sprung up, I take them out of here and I pot them up into individual pots to grow on, and then once they're large enough they can go off into the greenhouse. But I can take it off for a second. So nothing will be sprouting yet because I only planted these last night. But like I said, in there we've got 2 varieties of tomato and 2 varieties of pepper. So they should be coming up quite nicely, and I'll show you what I've been getting on with in the garden as well. So the glass there is just to keep the temperature in there and the humidity up a little bit while they germinate. You need about, I think they say, between 17 and 20 degrees Celsius for them to happily germinate. You know, the closer towards 20 you can get it, the better really. So probably after a week or so they should start popping up. Like I said, after a couple of weeks they should be large enough to pot up that I can actually pot them up into their own individual pots. Like I said, and they'll be going, well, some will be going off to other people that I've promised them, and then the others will be going in my greenhouse. I'll take you outside and show you some of the other things that I've been doing. I have to mind the cat. That's my cat. I don't know if you can spot him. That's Mau. Mau. Hello, Mau. He's a, well, when I say he's my cat, he's a semi-feral stray which has kind of adopted us. I have, I'll show you over here first. Typical Jay's Vintage Junk back patio. It's full of junk. But in here, that's I'm having another different way of growing potatoes. I've tried a few different techniques over the years, and I was watching a video by someone, their YouTube channel's called Poor Old Chap. It's a retired fella, and he was saying about growing potatoes in a plastic bag like this. So basically I've got my seed potatoes down at the bottom of there, and I've rolled the bag. It's filled with an earth. And then basically what you do is, as your potatoes come up through, when you see your shoots coming up through, you add another layer of soil and just roll the bag up until basically you've got the entire bag full of soil with your potatoes growing out the top. So I've never tried this technique before, but I thought I'd give it a try. The way I've grown my potatoes in the past, apart from just in the garden, you know, I've grown them in the garden quite a few times, is I've used that. That's the inside of an old washing machine, and because it's very aerated, that grows potatoes really quite well. It does need emptying out. The soil in there is not good for growing in anymore. I'll empty that out and that can just get rotated back into the garden. As you can see, I've been doing quite a bit of de-weeding. We've got this, which I knocked up today. I've just finished doing this now. And this is really good if you don't have a garden like this. You know, if you've got just a balcony or something like that. Some scrap wood I've knocked together, filled with some old scrap plastic, an old plastic, I think it was a sandbag or something. It had builder's sand in it. So split that up and line the wood with it to stop it rotting the wood out too far. Got a very light compost in it. I'll come over to the compost that I'm using after, and that is full of carrots. So that's full of carrot seeds. They're about 1 centimetre below that top surface. And if you look at the depth, they are a dwarf carrot as well. They're not a full length carrot, but we should get some quite a decent, you know, it's about, we've got a good 8-9 inches on the depth there. These are old scaffolding boards. They're rotten well, they're condemned scaffolding boards because they had a rot in them that someone gave me. So they actually given me for firewood, but I thought this was a much better use, and a bit of the decking that I had left over from building the summer house. And then we've got, this is what's broke my back today, because this was just full of weeds. This was just full of like daisies and weeds and all sorts, so I've been digging all that out. This is all loose stuff. I just haven't, my back's hurting that much now that I just need, I'll come out tomorrow and pick all the rest of this up. As you can see, it's all free from the ground. Get rid of that one. But yeah, in there we're going to have cabbages, some collie. Yeah, I think I'll just have cabbages and collie in that one, and possibly this is going to be done next. I'm going to do these next two rows of this rockery. So we'll have cabbages and collie and probably lettuce, and I think I've got some pak choi or something like that as well. So they'll be going in these beds here. So we've just got a bit of veg coming in throughout the year, really. What I'm using to, oh, this is another of the neighbourhood cats. This cat doesn't get on with the cat, my cat. This is what I'm using to fill my pots with as well. Now you can spend quite a lot on potting compost. It can be quite expensive. Cat, do you have to stay in shot like that? Really? Said it can be quite pricey, but these are just tomato grow bags I got from one of the local. Sorry about that, we seem to be having some technical issues using this phone, but what I was saying, if we just missed it out on the last bit before the thing were, basically I don't bother buying the expensive potting compost. What I do is I buy these tomato grow bags. So if you have a B&M bargain store anywhere near where you live, they sell these. They're like £3 or something like that, rather than about £6 for the proper compost. And it is absolutely perfect for this. It's actually really nice stuff. Now I have a feeling it's probably made from, now don't all gross out, but it's probably actually made from human waste. But it's a really, really nice light compost. It's probably even made from human waste. Or do you know when you go to the tip and you dump all your like garden waste at the tip? They take that and rot it down. Because this is so black and nice, really, it's got very little actual matter in it. I have a feeling this is probably, and the fact that it doesn't say anywhere on the bag what it's made out of, which is a good indicator, it probably is sewage farm waste this is actually made from. Which, don't worry about that, it's perfectly safe to handle. You know, it is completely inert, but it is really good compost for growing your vegetables. I just tend to keep that on the top like that, so if it rains, basically it doesn't get all full of water and it basically ruins it. It go all soggy and horrible. But anyway, yeah, that's my little garden video. I know a lot of people are doing gardening videos at the moment, but I thought, what the hell, I might as well jump on the bandwagon. So I hope you enjoyed that little. I'll show you some of my other. In fact, just before we finish this video, just in case, I don't know whether the camera's going to crap out again, but I'll just show you some of my others. I've got this, which I started about 3 years ago, and that is it's actually a wild plum, wild cherry plum. Beautiful little tiny little plums that make a really nice plum jam. And go picking them wild, and I saved one of the seeds and grew it on. I said that's about 3 years old now. Probably go into the garden later this year when I've cleared a space for it. I'll show some of the other. Obviously, we've got a couple of apple trees. We've got an apple tree here. That's a special hybrid. It actually has 3 different varieties of apple on it, or at least it did. One of the branches at the back there, and it perhaps only has 2 or 3 apples on, but the 2 front ones there, really good, and you get lots of apples on them. And then we have another larger apple tree there. That's more of a cooking apple. It's like a cross. It's a tart eater, it's a good cider apple, and it's a good cooking apple. And then we have, I'm in the northwest of England, so you mightn't realise that you can actually grow stuff like this, but that's a fig tree, and I get fresh. These are last year's growth. Some of these usually drop off. The smaller ones there are like this year's early growth, but actually, because we had such a mild winter, we might get 2 crops off this year. That has happened in the past. So fresh figs in the north of England, the northwest of England. Anyway, I really will have to leave it there because this camera's going to crap out any minute. So hope you enjoyed that little update on gardening. So thanks for watching and goodbye.